Hi friends, did you know that you can fence a 100-acre property for just rupees 5 lakhs? Hi friends, this is Kunal here, the co-founder of Just Fence, and in this video we will be showing you how you can do a cost breakup for fencing your property. Firstly, how to determine the boundary length of your particular property. Secondly, we will be sharing you how to estimate the cost factor of fencing materials. Thirdly, we'll be coming to the installation cost, and finally, are there any other factors that you need to keep in mind which can affect the costing of fencing your property? So let's get started with the most important factor for determining the cost of fencing your property, which is the perimeter or boundary length. It's very important to know your boundary length, and this can be ascertained in one of three ways. The first way how you can know the length is by going into Google Maps and zooming into your property. And if you know the corner points of your property, you can just right click on your mouse and you'll see an option called as take measurements. Now, once you have clicked on the corner points, what you'll see is that Google automatically calculates the boundary length of your property. How cool is that? Secondly, let's assume you do not know the GPS location of your property. What you can do is that you can search the property diagram that you have. You can go to your property map. You would have received this document when you had purchased the property. Now, when you look into the property map, you will see the boundaries listed there and the measurements written on it. So all you need to do is add all the measurements and you have the perimeter or boundary length of your property. Let's assume a worst case scenario where you do not know the GPS location nor do you have the property diagram. So what you can do is you can go on to www.justfence.in. Now this is the only website in the world which has an area calculator. Now what this does is all you have to do is input the size of your property and instantly it will give you an approximate boundary length of your property. Now, please note that this is only an approximate boundary length of your property, but this is good enough to give you an idea of what your boundary length could be like. Also note that the boundary length can also vary based on the shape of the properties. Now, let's look at this example here. As you can see, there are three different properties which are all 1 acre in size, but you can see that all three of them have different boundary lengths. So the boundary lengths will vary a lot based on the shape of the property, but you will get an approximate idea through the area calculator. Also, a mistake that a lot of people do is that once they have calculated the cost of 1 acre of land, they then multiply it into the number of acres they have, which does not give an exact idea. For example, if you see in this chart, 1 acre of land is approximately 1000 running feet, and common logic would say that 10 acres would be 10,000 running feet. But as you can see in the chart, 10 acres is only 3000 running feet. So as the property size increases, the boundary length does not increase in the same manner. Now that we know the boundary length of a property, let's calculate the cost of fencing material. Now there are different types of fencing materials. For example, there's the barbed wire, also commonly called as the fencing wires. There's chain link fencing, there's electric fence. So which product should we go for fencing a property? The type of material that you should be doing depends on your property type and also what is the objective. If you take in the case of vacant lands, the fencing wire or the barbed wire is more than sufficient because it is one of the cheapest forms of fencing which is available and it suits the objective, which is just a plain demarcation. When it comes to other types of properties, for example, agricultural fencing or plotted developments, there are different types of fencing that we should be opting for, and we will be covering that in another video. To get an idea of the cost, let us take the example of a property which is 1 acre. Now, as we saw in the area calculator, 1 acre is approximately 1000 running feet. So if we have to fence this property, we can go for, let's say, 4 lines of barbed wire, which is more than sufficient for a plain demarcation. Now, there are multiple types of barbed wire which is available in the market. As you can see over here in the list, let's calculate the cost of the fencing pole. The standard height of a fencing pole is about 7 feet, of which 5 feet goes above the ground level and 2 feet goes below. The standard pole to pole distance between two poles is 3 meters or 10 feet. Apart from the main pillars, you also need support pillars. Now, support pillars are added for every 8th pole. So you have 2 support pillars, and also at every corner, you need to give 2 supporting pillars. So let's come back to the example of the 1 acre that we were calculating on. So you would be requiring, as you can see the calculations over here, you would be requiring about 100 main pillars and roughly about 35 support pillars. Now, the cost of the pillars depend on which material you're going for. There are different kinds of materials, and the costing also varies on how close is your property to a supplier or to a quarry, what are the transportation costs involved. But this chart will give you an idea of the costs involved. What we have shared with you is the fencing standard. In case you want to further save on cost, what you can do is you can increase the distance between 2 poles, or you can go for a fence pole which is just about 6 feet in height. Next, let's come to the installation cost factor. Now, if you're taking a skilled fencing labor to come and do the fencing for you, they will charge you anywhere between 15 rupees per running feet to 30 rupees per running feet, depending upon the site conditions. But let's say you want to further save on cost, what you can do is you can engage with unskilled laborers and supervise them yourself. You can take them on daily wages. This way you could have some good savings. There are also a lot of other factors that you need to keep in mind while fencing your properties. For example, site cleaning charges, site surveying charges, transportation costs, in case you're concreting, the concreting charges. So here is a list of all the costs that you need to consider while fencing your particular property. You know all the costs and you know all the other additional costs as well. Roughly, this is the costing which will work out according to the size of your particular property. For example, if it's a 1 acre property, the total costing can come anywhere between 50,000 to 2 lakh rupees. And if it's a 100 acre property, it can come anywhere between 5 lakh rupees to 15 lakh rupees. Now, some of you must be wondering, now that's a very wide range. For example, 5 lakhs to 15 lakhs. Yes, it is a very wide range because the costing is greatly influenced by a multiple factors. For example, what is the height of the pole you're going for? What is the distance of the pole you're using? What is the type of barbed wire you're using? So here are a list of the factors which have an impact on the costing of the property. In case you want to get an exact idea of how much it's going to cost you, what you can do is we are giving you a free spreadsheet. So as you can see here, this is a very powerful tool. All you need to do is you need to input in the different variables, and this spreadsheet will calculate the exact rate what it will take to fence your particular property. I hope this video has given you a clear idea with regards to how to calculate the cost for fencing your particular property. And in case you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to our channel so that we can come up with more such useful content. And also please use the comment box and share your thought process about this. And if you know the local rates in your particular area, please share it in the comment box so that the others can also benefit from it. Thank you. Once again, this is Kunal from Just Fence, the experts in property fencing. Feel free to get in touch with us if we can guide you with any aspect with regards to your property fencing. Thank you and have a great day.